You were here with By the Cover. Today we're going to be reviewing Gwendy's Final Task by Stephen King and Richard Chizmar. The book was 279 pages and took me 2 days to read. I would rate the book a 3.5 out of 10. This review will contain spoilers, so if you don't want to hear those, click off now. The summary: Gwendy Peterson, now a United States Senator, must face the button box again, this time in a new, more dangerous context on the MF-1 space station. The story takes her on a journey from Castle Rock to a cursed main city of Derry and ultimately to space, where she must complete a secret mission to save the world and potentially other worlds. As far as my likes of this book, I liked that Gwendy was losing her memory, and you don't really know if that's because of the box or because of her old age. I like the development of Ferris's character, in that it shows that he really does care about the people he entrusts with the box, and he hates the box just as much as they do. I did like the mystery of who hit Ryan and Derry, and that arc tied in with the Dark Tower series. I loved the moment with Gwendy and her mother under the stars, and also the heartfelt ending with her and her father. And I liked the difference between what Ferris told her she would be doing while she died versus what the reality was. As far as my dislikes of the book, there were 13 mentions of either Donald Trump by name, Republican bashing, or mentioning a candidate that Gwendy goes against to win an election. I hate politics in my books. They don't need to be there, especially in fiction books. It was a stupid decision to include that. There were 3 specific instances that were really stupid. One instance, the candidate that Gwendy is going against mentions banning everything from China, but some item I don't remember, and General Tso's chicken. Another instance, Trump says the coronavirus was a big hoax to steal people's constitutional rights. And the other plot point I really didn't like was Gwendy plays the victim like all she wants to do is write and be an author, but she can't because it's her civic duty to stand up and fight for what's right and win this election against the Republicans. All of which I find completely idiotic, doesn't need to be in the book, and I wish he would have just left it out. There's also a lot of COVID references in this book, which I could have done without. The other reason I really don't like this book is just Gwendy in space. I do not like that arc. Now, I will give it a little credit because if you take the tagline of the Dark Tower, there are other worlds than these, then the ending of this book is quite brilliant. And the space theme also kind of ties in, but it's still not a plot arc that I wanted to see, and I didn't find it interesting at all. I found it really stupid when they were in the spaceship at the beginning and the countdown's on and it's like T minus 2 hours and 15 minutes. Longest countdown ever. And that's what the space mission felt like, was a complete drag from the start. They also have a mention that they're doing the orbit around the Earth in a Christmas boat configuration. Okay. I don't get the perspective of Gwendy with Richard Ferris being the author of all her pain. He's never been anything but upfront with her and a gentleman, so I don't see the reason that she treats him like that or thinks about him that way. There's a lot of praise for Gwendy being amazing. We don't need to hear that. We already know she's amazing. She can do no wrong. I don't like that they have to repeat the rules of the box again. This is the 3rd story in the trilogy. If you don't know it by now, you should probably go read the previous 2 installments. The other thing I don't really know if I liked or didn't like was the It tie-in. It just didn't really make sense. I think they just threw it in there to throw it in there. Now, it does give me hope that there might be a sequel to It in the future, so I would like to see that. But here's why it didn't make sense to me. The original story took place in 1958. It goes to sleep every 27 years, then awakens 1 year, and that cycle repeats. So the next time that it awakens is 1985, in which it is presumably destroyed. Even if it wasn't destroyed, the next time it would have shown up was 2012, and then 2039. It's mentioned by Gwendy that her friend was chased by a clown in Derry, and this is mentioned around the time that COVID begins, which would have been 2019, late 2019 to early 2020, which you'll note is nowhere near 2012 or 2039. So that just didn't align and it didn't make sense. Overall, I think this was a very weak end to the trilogy. I did like the Dark Tower tie-ins, and this book leans more into those. I did enjoy that aspect. I get where the Gwendy in space plot point came from, so it makes sense, but it wasn't my personal cup of tea. and I could have really done without the political stuff in my fiction. So that's about it. We'll catch you later.